it is hot that I can do about it other than just be grateful that it's finally fixed. I'm actually waiting to. I need to go get the labs from. I forget who did it. Either way, I gotta go there and get a copy of the labs or like log into their website to get it. I don't know. I tried to log in to their site and it was a lab core, yada yada yada. But either way, I couldn't see anything. So I even explained. I mean, when I was at this particular neurologist, I said, "Oh, the very first visit when things were very out of whack." I said, "Hey, my testosterone levels pretty low." Oh God, why is my nose itching? Testosterone levels are pretty low. I know that can affect some things, and they just kind of didn't really take it seriously. So this follow-up visit that I had, I was speaking with a different nurse practitioner who wasn't even there. The nurse practitioner met me through Zoom, which is very strange. Like, they're working in a big facility with like, it's a well-known. Why do you not have a nurse practitioner there from somewhere? But whatever. And I explained to her, it's like, hey, started testosterone treatment or replacement. It still feels weird. TRT doesn't really feel like I'm not replacing. I mean, I'm adding, but whatever. It sounds weird. And I explained to her that I was, on testosterone bi-weekly and that this seems to have fixed all of my problems. At least I can say that it's hit on 90% of my issues. It's helping 90% of my issues 20%. Like, mostly all of my issues are getting resolved very slowly. So, kind of trying to explain and at least bring awareness to it, because I hate when I feel like I'm doing more legwork than the doctor is. Whenever you say things like, so I hear that testosterone can cause neurological and cardiovascular events. And they just kind of tilt their head and look at you, and it's like, I'm not making this up. Like, these are studies that have happened. This is what we know now. Like, I'm not a doctor. Why do I hold more information than you do in your field? Like, I don't. It sounds so condescending to say it that way, but that's really the case. Like, when people go to the doctor, like, you need to be armed with information so you can at least you've always got to advocate for yourself. But it's more apparent to me now, seeing how a lot of doctors don't even treat this as something serious. They go by what the tried and true, what they know, what the literature says, 20 years ago, because that's what they learned in school and that's it. You have to constantly keep learning. We're coming up, we're discovering new things all the time. That's what we do as humans. We learn. We put these old theories to the test and see if they still work. If it's still good, we keep it. If it's not good, we throw it out and we come up with a new solution. Not everything needs to be overhauled. We don't need to change, the language that we use to describe things that we already have names for. Like, we don't need a new name for rock to make people understand what a rock is, better. Like, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. But when something, I just don't understand how like the people that study the endocrine system, like how the links weren't put together between neurological and cardiovascular issues with low testosterone. Like how that wasn't put together before. Because when you read the articles and you hear what they say, it seems very obvious. But again, that's not my field of study, so I can't really give them crap for it. But I don't know, it was just weird. Like, they were, happy that the results were good, but in a sense they were unnecessary tests. I mean, I guess I have to stop looking at it as them being unnecessary, because in the grand scheme of things, they're not unnecessary. They actually do tell me that, my brain is fine. My heart is fine. So I know that I'm keeping good care of my two most vital organs, and it's just that, my endocrine system is screwy. So I really would like to figure out, I really think that my next step, even though my primary care physician, he's great, I feel as though maybe talking to an endocrinologist and maybe diving deeper into this and seeing why things aren't functioning the way that they are, because obviously my body is not producing the testosterone that it needs to put me at an acceptable level. So why is that? What's happening? Like, we've looked at the thyroid, but those are things I really would think that an endocrinologist would really be my next step into finding out just exactly what's not functioning properly and see if we can fix that. Even if we can't, and just continue to treat with, testosterone, because that is kind of working, but, what's wrong? What happened? Is there something wrong with the testes? Like, is there something else in the body that's caught? Like, why is this not, why is my body not producing it? I mean, there's no way to know what happened, but maybe there's a simple solution to it. So, I don't know. I feel like this is a 100% validation in when you know in your gut that something's not right, go with your gut instinct. Your gut instinct, that feeling that you get when you know that something is off, that's an evolutionary advantage that we have as humans. We have developed that over millennia. That's there for a reason. You don't get that gut feeling for nothing. Well, if you do, that's anxiety. But most of us know the difference. When you really feel that something's off, like when I was younger, 21, 23, somewhere around that time, I knew that something was off. I 100% knew that there was something going wrong, and I could sense it. I couldn't explain what it was. They tested everything. I remember them even telling me that I had an issue with my inner ear because my balance was off. I learned all about that. I also learned that it doesn't just happen once and then completely stop. Like, it's usually something that requires treatment and not just one trip on the inversion table and you're good. So if you feel like something is wrong, especially if it's something that can be tested for with a simple blood and urine, do it. And if that doctor doesn't do it, go to another one. And if that doctor doesn't understand why you want it, who cares? Insurance is paying for it, or you're going to pay for it out of pocket. If you're paying for the test, get the blood done. Get your labs done. Like, life's too short to not have people listen to you when you know that something's wrong. When all of the signs and symptoms all point to one thing, get it tested. Men especially, like, oh my God, like, go get your testosterone checked. They have a test kit at the drugstore. Like, I haven't checked, but it's probably at Walmart. I was going to buy some. CVS has it for sure. CVS, Walgreens, it's literally on the shelf. It is a testosterone test kit. I don't know if you have to mail it off or what. I would imagine that you do. I don't know how it would tell you your levels otherwise, but you can find this information out. If you're getting more anxious than normal, if your depression doesn't make a whole lot of sense, like, start looking into this, because you don't know unless you have those numbers. That gives you a good indicator of where to start. And take it from there. Because if it goes too long, you're going to end up like me, and you're going to have these crazy symptoms that make absolutely no sense, and you literally think that you're dying. Like, I thought that I was having a stroke. When I went to my neurologist said these are transient ischemic attacks. Like, these are little strokes that are happening. That's terrifying. Like, I'm just about to be 38. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I'm as healthy as I could possibly be. So why am I having strokes? But that wasn't it. It was just my body freaking out and saying, hey, your T levels are low. Go get it fixed. I mean, everything, man. Like, it seemed like a stroke, and then it seemed as though I was, my blood sugar was crashing. They thought that I was diabetic because it was showing all the signs of, hot flashes, cold sweats, nauseous, like just so many symptoms all at once. It's not just about sexual performance. In the 90s, in the late 90s, early 2000s, testosterone was simply being pushed on every commercial station. Check your levels. Check your levels. Can you not perform? Are you, blah, 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 blah. So now there's this stigma that if you're low on testosterone, that's what's being affected. That's why you're going, that's what you need it for. You're less of a man if you take testosterone. It's not the case. You're less of a man if you don't speak up and get the help that you need. And as a man, we got to start lowering those suicide numbers. We need to start getting mental health in check. And one of the things that we can start doing is find out the root cause as to why depression is so rampant. And I would guess that there's a lot of men out there that have low levels and they have no idea. Like $40 you can go and get the test done. If it shows that you're low, under 300, and you're a younger guy, especially if you're a younger guy, if you're under 300, go talk to someone about getting that fixed. Because as you get older, it's only gonna start dropping. If you're an older guy and you're under 300, still go and get it checked, like get it fixed. Because under 300, if it's anything like what I was feeling, it's miserable. Like I felt so old in my own, like I had no energy to do anything. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to do, like everything was completely, like all the energy was zapped out of me. And now that hasn't made a complete 180, but it's getting there. Like I have the energy to do things. I can function. My memory is getting better. My vocabulary is coming back. I feel as though like it's markedly better is what I'm trying to say. And it's only going to increase as time goes on. So, holy crap. 20 minutes on a tirade. Like, I don't know. It blows my mind because I was very ecstatic to tell this to the neurologist and they were just kind of like, well, I guess we'll take credit even though we didn't do it. It's like, all right, come on, man. Like, can we be serious? Because when I came in here last time, I could barely remember where I lived. It's about money, whatever. 24 grand just to know that my brain and my heart are fine. And all of this could have been avoided had the doctor just checked this about, I don't know, many years ago. So that's it. I still don't know how to end these videos, so I'm going to leave it at that. I'm probably going to have a longer one. Well, not a longer one. More focused, actually, is what I need to do. More focused video on my labs from my neurologist just to see if, because they did a lot of blood work as well, and I'd like to compare that and see, because there's a gap between tests. I know where my testosterone levels were at the beginning, where they were last Thursday, and then the neurologist had some tests done in between. Granted, it wasn't for test, it was for some other things, but they did test cholesterol and things like that, so I can at least see how that's been affected. So, all right, that's it. I'm out. I can remember how to There we go. X in the corner.